Welcome back to another episode of Import Modify. On this episode, I just want to talk a little bit about the future plans of the RB25det build. Let you guys look the car over and show you the parts that I have so far, and just talk a little bit about it in general. So what I have here is a 1996 Nissan 300ZX. It is the NA two-seater, and as you can tell, the body on this thing is in really great shape. And it took me quite a while to find a good shell that would be a candidate for this build. I've looked at quite a few of them, and it's either the interior was just messed up or the body was in terrible shape. But I finally found one, and I jumped on it when I saw it because it was just exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for white exterior, black interior, and I scored with this one. Now, if you watch some of my previous episodes, I talked about the title and the problems I had with it. Now, it's been a little while since I've had this shell, but I was able to work out all the problems with the title. I finally paid all the fees, got all that done. It just so happened that the title was signed by multiple buyers, and it was a no-go at the DMV, so I ended up getting with the guy. He went to the DMV. I had to pay a hefty fee, but I got it to where he can transfer it in his name. And now he's going to be mailing that title to me so I can transfer it into my name. So everything on that title is a go now. So with that being said, we are a go to start building this project here pretty soon. But just looking at the body in general, I mean, there's one little ding right there, and there's a ding on the hood. But other than that, the body is in immaculate condition. And see if this is open. Yeah. The interior of the car is in such great shape. I mean, it is just blew my mind when I saw this thing. I was like, man, this is the one that I want to build. And I was really happy that it was in 1996, because in 96, this is the last year that it was produced in the United States, and it came with the suede interior. It's got the suede interior trim all around, and I really dig that. I don't like the cloth on the previous models. It does have a tear on the seam right there, but that's little nitpicky stuff. All in all, it is a very great car to start with for the build. And I just don't know, some people hate on these cars a lot, you know, but for me, I've always loved these cars ever since I was a teenager growing up, and I always wanted one. I have owned other ones before, but they weren't ones that I wanted to keep and build. And I've had a twin turbo before, and a lot of people are diehard fans of the VG motor. And there's nothing wrong with the VG motor. The VG motor makes a lot of power, but they're just a pain in the ass to work on. And I always wanted to own one with an RB swap, so I told myself once I find a good, nice, clean shell that's what I would do. So now that I got me a shell, I got the engine swap, we're gonna make this thing a reality. So just gonna show you a little bit more about the car. Let me plug in the light here. As far as the body goes, everything's really clean on it. The only real issue is right there in the battery tray area. And these are common on all Z32s. They always rust right there in that area. But just looking at the rust that it has, it really isn't that bad. Now I plan on relocating the battery to the rear, so we're going to take that tray out. And I'm going to take everything out of the engine bay. We're going to sand it down and repaint it. And I was thinking about how I want to build this thing. And I think I'm going to shave half of the stuff just to clean up the wheel well areas so that it can better showcase the engine, just give it that nice clean look. So once I start doing the prepping in the engine bay, I'll decide then which ones I'm going to shave off. But I'm going to end up welding up a lot of the threaded holes and stuff, and you know, throwing some nice body filler and stuff over it to clean it all up once I have the holes welded up. And we'll primer it and paint it. I'm going to paint it factory white because I just want it all white and nice and even. But so that's the deal that I want to do on the engine bay. But also whenever you're swapping RB engines into these chassis, the problem that you have with these things is the cross member here and the sway bar interferes with the sump pan or the oil pan. And a lot of the bolt-in kits have come a long way over the years. And I was looking around for the right bolt-in kit, and I came across a CX Racing kit, and the CX Racing kit comes with a specialized oil pan. And here's that specialized oil pan. Now I bought the transmission, motor mount, and oil pan kit, and it also comes with a special pickup tube for this oil pan to make it all work. But this oil pan, the way it's designed, I don't have to hack anything or replace anything. Whenever you bolt the engine in, it clears everything, so you don't have to modify anything, and that just saves a lot of time. So that's the reason I went with this kit right here. And that kit cost me a little bit shy of 900 bucks. It's like 800 something dollars I spent on this kit. And before we start doing anything to the body, I'm going to start with refreshing the engine and talk about the engine parts that I do have to start with. Now, I like to replace all the rod bearings on JDM engines that I get just for peace of mind. And I use ACL race bearings. I had a lot of good luck with these in the past, and they're a really good bearing. So I went ahead and got me some bearings for that. I got me a full Nissan OEM gasket and seal kit to redo everything on the engine as far as gaskets and seals go. I decided to stay OEM with that. And I got me a OEM thermostat as well. And to just add insurance on top of it for the head gasket, I got ARP head studs. So I plan on upping the boost from the factory to produce more horsepower, so that's just added insurance. But I did some research on the head gasket, the factory one, and for the horsepower numbers that I'm looking to produce around the 400 horsepower range, I shouldn't have any problems with the stock head gasket. And I didn't like the condition of the exhaust studs, so I bought me some new ones with nuts. And I bought me a Gates timing belt water pump kit. It comes with the pulley bearings and everything, so it's a full complete kit. So we can refresh all that as well. And one of the things I really like about RB swaps is I like the clear timing cover on it. Now later on I plan on putting cams and cam gears in it, and what better way to showcase the cam gears than having a front clear case cover on it. So I decided to get that as well. And that's about pretty much it on the engine. We have everything we need to modify it to fit in the car and to refresh it all in general. And also I got a camber kit, and I had this car for a while, and when I bought the car right away I bought me some coilovers for it because I thought that the title wouldn't be an issue. And I did go with some cheaper coilovers, but they'll work for now. But later on I plan on buying some nicer ones like some BCs or whatnot to put in the car, but they'll do for now. And what else do we have here? I think that's about it. So we got enough to start on the engine, getting the engine freshened up, and that's what I plan on doing. Now the wheels that are on this car, I don't want to keep these on there. I just had them laying around and they fit the bolt pattern on the car, so I put them on to see how they would look. After having them on the car, I don't really dig them. So these aren't going to be the wheels that I'm going to keep for the car. I do have the factory rims and tires in the back over there, but just to roll it around for now, that's why I have the wheels on there. But looking at the engine that we have over here, we're going to go with an RB25 swap. Now I really wanted to get a 26, but the price hike from the 25 to the 26 is quite big. So at least with the 25 I can use the transmission and everything because it is rear-wheel drive. When you go with RB26, it comes with an all-wheel drive transmission, and then you have to use a 300ZX transmission and an RB25 bell housing. That's just too much headache. Even though you're just paying more money for the engine itself, you still have to pay more money to get the transmission configuration right. For that reason, with the horsepower numbers that I was wanting to do, the 25 is more than enough. But whenever I bought this, I bought it from one of the JDM engine suppliers, and they sent me a video of the engine doing a compression test, and all of the cylinders measured 180 across all cylinders, give or take a couple PSI. But I knew it was a real healthy engine, and I complained about the rust on the block and all that. It's just a little nitpicky stuff, but he did discount it for that reason. But it doesn't really matter. Whenever we tear it down to refresh it, we're going to repaint everything and make it all look new. So I still got to decide what color I want to go with the valve covers and everything, but we got time on that before we get to that point. But that's the engine right there. I do have the transmission in the back of the shop. I did buy the full swap engine, transmission, harness, ECU, everything. and I'm not a fan of the factory intake manifold. So we're gonna get like a Freddy intake, and they call them Freddies because they're fake Greddy intakes. That's why they call it Freddy. But I'm gonna buy me one of those intake manifolds just to give it that clean look, and it will be a little bit better than the factory one. So that's pretty much what I plan to do. But yep, just looking at the car in general, it is a great candidate to start with, and I'm pretty stoked to get this thing going. So I just got to get things caught up before we get to this point. I'm going to finish up the RC51. That shouldn't take very long, which I got the Canon filters in for it finally. And we're going to do a couple more things to the E46. And then once I'm at the stopping point on that, because I'm going to have to save up a little bit more money to finish this thing, when we caught up on that, that's when I'll start messing around with the RB25, getting that thing freshed up and ready to go. So I just pretty much wanted to talk about the car in general, give you guys a look at it, and let y'all see what it was like and what to expect here on the channel. So with that note, I'm going to go ahead and end it off. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.